In today's video, we'll go over how to change the language. So when we open up the menu, we get this, and from here we can change it from English to Polish, Spanish, and so on. So with that said, let's begin. Going into this video, you probably have a menu system set up already, so I'll just show you what I have here. So in the content drawer, we'll be translating everything that's inside this UI folder, so all of the widgets. So we have the button and the settings menu. So everything that's on the screen will be translated. So of course, more things on the screen, more things left to translate. So with that out of the way, we can close this down, and up here on the top left, we have this tools option. We also have that option while being in the blueprints. So while being here, we go to tools and we want localization dashboard. To start things then, we want to make sure English is our native language. So make sure to tick this, and the circle is highlighted in blue. Once that's done, we can go to gather text and gather from packages, click on the dropdown, include path wildcards, and we can select our folders. So for us, we only have one, which is UI. Select folder. Once that's done, gather text, and it'll gather everything that's there. Once that's done, we can go ahead and hit OK. Next, we'll go ahead and add a new culture. And this, for example, will be Polish. And while selecting a new language, you might notice you have multiple options. Your first option will be for the whole country, and the rest would be for like a local area. And you also get a print string that comes along with it. And this is the exact print string that you want to use while changing to that language. So we'll use Polish. In general, we want to gather text again before compiling, or rather translating. So once that's done, hit OK, and we'll go over here to this folder. Once you click on it, you need to then translate everything that's in here. So let's go ahead and do that. And for this, you can of course use Google Translate or whatever you like. So once you're done, you want to click Save, close it down. And in here, you want to then compile text or gather first. And after this has gathered, we want to then compile. So let's give it a minute again. So once finished, we want to then go ahead and compile our text. And once that's done, let's hit OK. We can close this down. Next, let's go ahead and open up our settings menu. Now over here on the top right, you have this little icon that says none. If you click on it, you can change it to one of your languages. So Polish, for example. Now, if this doesn't work, it tends to happen a lot. It's because it's glitched. So simply restart your project and you should be okay. With that said, let's go to the event graph. And over here, we want to then change our language by clicking on a button. So I have custom buttons set up. So you might have some different text in here, but basically click on the unclicked option. So we have English and we have Polish. And we'll do both of these then. So for English, what we'll do is we'll do set culture, set current culture. And the string you want to use is the one that comes with the language. So for English, it's EN. And for Polish, for general, would be PL. So we'll change it to PL, like so. And that should be done for us to change the language. Now, of course, it doesn't save just yet. So let's save everything and test this first. Go to standalone to test this. Once you're loaded in your standalone mode, open up your menu. And we can change the language. So if we click English, nothing should happen, but Polish, it should work. Now, the thing is, this won't save, so we need to create a save system for it. So let's close this down. So let's go ahead and open up our content drawer and create a new folder called saving. And in here, we want to right click, go into blueprint class and select all classes, save game. And we'll call it SGB for save game blueprint underscore settings. Open that up. And in here, we want to create a variable called language or culture, whichever you like, and change it to a string. Compile, save, and we can also give this a default value like English, EN. Compile, save again, and exit. Next, let's right click and go to blueprint class again and do game instance. We'll be using a game instance to save our data because it's persistent throughout the game and all the levels. So we'll do pp blueprint gi game instance underscore main. Save it and also assign it at the start. So settings, project settings, because if you don't assign it, your variables won't save. Maps and modes, game instance, DJI main, and exit. So back in here, open the game instance, and we want to create a function called custom event, and we'll do load settings. And we want to then get event init, which will run everything for us once the game starts. And we can call this load settings function here, like so. And let's go ahead and create some logic in here then. And we want to do, does save game exist? And for the print string, we'll do settings slot, compile and give this a name. So like slot1 will do. Get the branch, so be left mouse. If it exists, we'll do something. If it doesn't, we want to create a save game object, search SGB settings, and promote to variable, SGB settings. Now, if it does exist, we want to load game from slot, and the slot we're using is the one we made here, true. And we want to cast to SGB settings, and then we want to promote it. So we can Control-C, Control-V, and that just saves us some time. So that's our load settings done. Now we need to create a save settings option. So custom event or save settings. And this will be generally the last function we call when we save something. So save game to slot. So I'll show you what I mean. If we drag these in, we want to then create another one for specifically saving the language. So custom event, save language, culture. And here what we want is we want to grab our settings, save game blueprint, and do set language. Drag this pin to create an input in your event. You'll be calling this. And then we need to save this, of course. So to save it, we'll call this. So save settings, and there we are. So every time you have, if you have more settings, for example, just call this at the very end. And that's all we got to do. So let's also update the culture at the start of the game. So functions, update language. And all we'll do is we'll set current culture, go to whatever our culture is. So get language. And there we go. You want to run this at the start of the game. Close that. And let's see. We can run it after we've loaded something. So if something exists, if it doesn't, it'll just stay English. So there's that. And we can compile and save. Now let's go ahead and open up our UI again. So settings menu. Now in here at the very end, we want to save this. So a handy way is to create a function, select that, collapse the function. We'll call it set language. Double click and drag this pin to create an input. And we want to return this here, like so. And yeah, let's compile that. Set the culture to be English. We can then go ahead, we need to go ahead and grab our game instance actually. So another function called get main GI, game instance, get game instance, passed to our game instance, so main. Let's promote it to a variable, pp GI main. Now once that's there, we can go ahead, first call this on pre-construct. Otherwise, this reference won't exist. So let's call that here. Now we have access to this reference. And because we have access to the reference, we can go ahead and call this save language option. And we can put this here. So if you don't like culture 1, you can just say language. And that's that. So we need to do the exact same for Polish and for any other language we have. So let's say PL, file, and save, and let's test this. So once again, go ahead and run this in standalone. Let's wait. So once this is opened, we can open up our menu, change to Polish. It says Polish. We can close this down. Let's open it again. And this time when it's opening, we should have Polish in there. So let's see. Open the menu and it's Polish. So that works. So this is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, leave a like. And as always, happy developing.